من التزم السلفية حصل الخير كله وحصل أجرا عظيما وفيرا كبيرا لأنه لزم هدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. الإخوة بمدينة دافا وبالفلبين يسعدهم تقديم الشيخ يحيى النهاري حفظه الله ورعاه في شرح كتاب تذكرة السامع والمتكلم في أدب العالم والمتعلم. واليوم بإذن الله تعالى اللقاء 21 أو الدرس 21، وهذا في يوم الجمعة 16 من صفر 1445 هجري، الموافق الأول من سبتمبر 2023 ميلادي. The brothers in the city of Davao in the Philippines are pleased to announce the continuation of the classes on the book The Manners of the Student, the Scholar and the Student by Ibn Jama'ah with our Shaykh Yaḥyá an-Nahārī حفظه الله ورعاه. And today بإذن ta'ala is class number 21 on the day of the 16th, day of Friday, the 16th of Ṣafar 1445 Hijri, corresponding to the 1st of September 2023 ميلادي. فليتفضل مشكورا مأجورا.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، أورد ابن جماعة رحمه الله تعالى في كتاب أدب العالم والمتعلم الأدب العاشر من آداب العالم في نفسه، وذكر قال رحمه الله تعالى أن يتودد لغريب حضر عنده ويتبسط له لينشرح صدره، فإن للقادم دهشة، ولا يكثر الالتفات والنظر إليه استغرابا له، فإن ذلك مخجله. نعم.
Shaykh Yaḥyá an-Nahārī حفظه الله started by saying, verily all praise is due to Allah, we praise him, we seek his assistance and we seek his forgiveness, and we seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the evils of our own souls and our own actions. Whoever Allah guides, nobody will misguide, and whoever Allah misguides, nobody will ever guide. And I bear witness there is no Lord to be worshipped in truth alone without any partners except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. Sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Thereafter, Ibn Jama'ah rahimahullah mentioned his book The Manners of the Scholar and the Student, the 10th point in regards to the manners of the scholar with himself. In regards to the manners of the scholar with himself, the Sheikh said, Hafidahullah, reading from the book, the 10th point, that upon the teacher or the scholar to do his best for the stranger who's coming over to see him, meaning to be nice and kind to the stranger who is present with him, and make things simple for him. In other words, humble oneself for him, so much so that the stranger who just came as a guest will feel good about it. His chest will open up to the scholar or to the teacher, meaning he will open his heart for the sheikh or for the teacher. Because verily, whoever is coming as a newcomer upon the scholar or upon the teacher go through what the sheikh mentioned as الدهشة. شيخنا فإن للقادم دهشة، كيف أشرح هذه بالإنجليزي؟
يعني استغراب، يعني شيء أتى عن غرابة.
Subhanallah. Verily, those who come unto a scholar or a teacher are more of a stranger, and more amazed with the experience. Upon the Shaykh or the teacher also not to look around and look hard up at the person who came in onto him out of wondering about the person, because that in itself will make the newcomer, if we want to call it that, or the person who came onto the scholar or the teacher, become shy from the teacher or the scholar. والله تعالى أعلم. نعم.
في هذا الأدب الذي بينه رحمه الله تعالى، أدب العالم مع الغريب بالتودد له والانبساط، وذلك لأن الغريب يحس بالحرج ويحس أنه يعني لا يعرف في هذا المكان، فيؤمنه ويطمنه أن لهذا الدرس وحتى يكون على راحة ويكون ذو بال. هذا هو الذي أراد رحمه الله تعالى، ولا يكثر الالتفات إليه كما ذكر أيضا من الآداب، لأنه ربما يخجل من كثرة الالتفات إليه، إنما يعامله كغيره من الطلاب، بل يزيد إحسانا إليه ويزيد له انشراح، حتى وكذلك أيضا يخصه بمسائل ويخصه أيضا بنوع من الدروس كما كان يفعل مشايخنا رحمهم الله تعالى. فيكون للبعيد الذي يأتي غريبا.
سامحني يا شيخ، هلو سامحني.
لا بأس، حتى احنا وقفنا يوم شفته.
عمل قطع علي المكالمة.
نعم لا بأس.
يعني فهمتهم.
طيب شيخنا، أنا اتقطع عني الخط لما عندما قلتم يا شيخ حتى يزيد انشراحا ويخص في مسائل.
نعم، كما كان مشايخنا رحمهم الله تعالى يفعلون مع الغريب إذا أتى من مكان بعيد، فيكون له الأولوية في الدرس إذا كان أراد أن يقرأ على الشيخ شيئا، لأنه أيام ثم يرحل. نعم، تفضل شيخ.
الله أكبر. Apologies, brothers. Even though I told the people at work I'll be busy at 9:30, don't call me, and somebody decided to call me anyway. Allah al-Musta'an. I apologize again. طيب, Shaykh حفظه Allah here said, Ibn Jama'ah mentioning a very important point here regarding the Shaykh or the scholar or the teacher and how they want to make the student comfortable. And that's, of course, from the manners of the Shaykh or the scholar or the teacher with himself, meaning how he is supposed to be receiving a stranger, for example, somebody who he never knew before, who just came in upon him for whatever benefit. By, as the Shaykh said, حفظه tawaddud ilayh, meaning being nice with him, make him feel at home, as we say in the West, and يعني humble oneself, or يعني for the lack of a better way of saying it, make him feel literally at home. Because this stranger that just came in upon the Shaykh may feel embarrassed due to the fact that it was his first time coming in and so on. And it may be, as the Shaykh said, because the stranger is not familiar with the place he just walked in, where the Shaykh is. He may not know the surroundings. He may not know the people there. So upon the Shaykh to make him feel safe, make him feel comfortable, because this class that the Shaykh is about to start with the stranger present, he wants to make sure the stranger is feeling at ease so he can get the benefit. And he wants to make the stranger feel calm, so he can maximize what he came for. This is what Ibn Jamā'a said by mentioning this point. Also, as Shaykh Yaḥyá an-Nahārī حفظه الله mentioned, Ibn Jamā'a also is saying here that upon the Shaykh or the teacher not to look too many times or not to look a lot at the stranger who just came in, because that may make feel the new person, if we want to call him that, feel embarrassed or feel shy, but rather treat him like the rest of the students. But rather, not just treat him like the rest of the students, but try to do more good towards him, to do more ihsan towards him, to make him feel more comfortable, and specify him in matters that may be specific or particular to the newcomer. As our Shaykh, as the Shaykh said, حفظه الله, when I got interrupted, I missed this point, and Shaykh Zallah Khair repeated that to me. He said, as our Shaykh, meaning the Shaykh of Shaykh Yaḥyá an-Nahārī, may Allah have mercy on them all, used to deal with strangers or newcomers once they come in from somewhere far away. For example, they would give them priority if they wanted to read a book upon the Shaykh. So they would be the first to be given that opportunity. Because after all, as Shaykh Yaḥyá an-Nahārī said, the stranger or the newcomer that just came upon the Shaykh may be there only for days at best, then he might leave right after that. Now,
قال ابن جماعة رحمه الله: وإذا أقبل بعض الفضلاء وقد شرع في مسألة أمسك عنها حتى يجلس، وإذا جاء وهو يبحث في مسألة أعادها له أو مقصودها. تفضل شيخ.
Here Ibn Jamā'a rahimahullah is saying, as the Shaykh read, and if some of those who are known to be honorable in the society, some fudala, those who have higher status in the community and the like, have come in upon the class after it started by the Shaykh, then it's upon the Shaykh to stop his class until those who are virtuous or those who are honorable or those who have status in the community sit down. And if it happens that they came in while the Shaykh is researching a matter, doing some reading in his books and the like, then it's upon the Shaykh to repeat that benefit back to those who just came in, or at least tell them the objective, or in summary, what is the matter is all about. Now,
معنى هذا الكلام أن هذا الأدب الذي ذكره ابن جماعة رحمه الله تعالى، أنه إذا أتى بعض الفضلاء وذلك احتراما له وتقديرا له كشيخ، كعالم، كأمير مثلا، ونحو ذلك من الفضلاء، وقد شرع في مسألة، بمعنى أنه ابتدأ في المسألة، فإنه في هذه الحالة من الأدب أن يمسك عنها احتراما لهذا الفاضل حتى يفرغ ويجلس ويكون منتبها، ثم بعد ذلك يأتي بهذه المسألة ويبينها حتى يكون له احترام وتقدير. وهذا فائدة العلم، أن يكون له أثره على العالم والمتعلم، وذلك في حفظ حقوق الكبير، سواء كان كبيرا في العلم أو كبيرا في السن ونحو ذلك، فهؤلاء الفضلاء لهم حق. فلذلك العالم له أن يمسك عن المسألة أو أن يعيدها مختصرة ويبين هذه المسألة في كذا وكذا. نعم.
In explaining this point of Ibn Jama'ah, Shaykh Yaḥyá an-Nahārī حفظه Allah said, what we learn from the speech of Ibn Jama'ah in his book, that this kind of etiquette or this kind of manner that has been mentioned here regarding the scholar or the teacher or the sheikh, that if some of those who are virtuous, some of those who are honorable in the community or the society came upon him while he's giving a class, for example. So out of respecting them, meaning out of respecting those comers or newcomers, out of appreciating them, it's upon the sheikh or the scholar to wait upon, for example, the prince or the king, and other than that, or the lack of that from the virtuous or the honorable from the society, wait upon them to sit down and get comfortable. Even if he was already going through a particular point, for example. In other words, if the scholar already started his class, then in this condition, after starting the class, a prince walks in. It's upon him to hold on out of respect for that virtuous person, that honorable person, until the person gets done with being welcomed and sits down and pay attention to the sheikh and to the class. Then after that, upon the teacher or the scholar to bring about the same point again or the same benefit and clarify it out of respecting and appreciating the newcomer who is known to be honorable in the society. And this, of course, as the Sheikh said, Hafidhahullah, is the benefit of knowledge. That to see from the benefits of knowledge, to see the effect of the knowledge upon the scholar and upon those who are taken from the scholar. That is also out of preserving the rights of the elders of the community, whether those elders are old in knowledge, meaning senior in knowledge, or senior in age, or other than that. Again, this is out of preserving the rights of the elders, whether those elders are senior in age or senior in knowledge or other than that. So those virtuous, those honorable individuals have a right upon the sheikh. And it's upon the sheikh or the scholar to hold or wait until again they sit down and pay attention to the class. And for him in that condition, either stop talking about whatever he was talking about or repeat it in summary so everybody can get the benefit and make sure it is cleared in such and such point and such point and so on. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Naam.
قال رحمه الله تعالى: وإذا أكبر فقيه وقد بقي لفراغه وقيام الجماعة بقدر ما يصل الفقيه إلى المجلس، فليؤخر تلك البقية ويشتغل عنها ببحث أو غيره إلى أن يجلس الفقيه، ثم يعيدها أو يتمم تلك البقية لكي لا يخجل المقبل بقيامهم عند جلوسه. تفضل
شيخنا، ايش معنى وقد بقي لفراغه؟
أيوة.
قيام الجماعة هنا.
أيوة، يعني ما إلى أن يصل إلى مكان حلقة، يعني إلى أن يصل، بقي إلى أن يصل، فراغ يعني من وقت مجيء الفقيه إلى أن يصل إلى المجلس ويجلس في بقية من الدرس باقية، لو أكملها انتهى الدرس وقام طلاب ولم يكن هذا الفقيه الداخل قاعدا فهو يريد أن يقعد وهم يقومون، فيحدث في نفسه خجلا وانكسار في نفس. لذلك انظر للآداب، حتى آداب في الدرس لم تترك الشريعة الإسلامية، والعلماء رحمهم الله بيّنوا ذلك حتى لا يحدث له انكسار، وراعت الحقوق وحقوقه كذلك. فينبغي، هذا معنى كلام ابن جماعة، أن العالم الدارس المعلم ينبغي أن يراعي مثل ذلك. نعم.
سبحانك ربي، اللهم بارك. Here the Shaykh حفظه الله, and I had to ask for clarity because this is very particular, and I hope Allah makes it easy for me to convey the point. Shaykh حفظه الله read from the book of Ibn Jama'ah where he said, and if a man of fiqh, meaning a scholar of fiqh, for example, came in upon the class of the Shaykh, and yet the Shaykh is near the end of his class, so by the time the person of fiqh or the scholar of fiqh is about to sit down, the jama'ah, meaning those who are in attendance, might be getting up because it's near the end of the class or the class is about to be finished. In that case, as the Shaykh said, upon the scholar or the teacher to delay the remainder of the class and occupy himself with some research and the like until the scholar of fiqh or the person of fiqh sits down. Then the teacher or the scholar repeats the benefit he was going over while everybody's still sitting and after the faqih sits down, or complete what remains of the class. This is all done to avoid embarrassing the newcomer, in that case a man of fiqh or a scholar of fiqh, because you are avoiding, in other words, by doing so, that those who are in attendance is starting to leave the class at the time of the newcomer coming to sit down. As the Shaykh said, حفظه الله, here in elaborating even further, look at the beautiful manners here that we learn from the Sharia of Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, that even such a manner was not left out by the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even such a manner was not even left out by the scholars of the Sunnah, because you don't want to, in other words, break the nafs or break the will of the person coming in to get the benefit, but rather you want to pay a lot of attention to the rights of those who are attending as well as of those who are coming in onto you as a scholar or a teacher. So what is a must? Again, from what we learned from the meaning of the speech of Ibn Jama'ah in his book, that the scholar, the teacher, the person who is teaching, the researcher, for example, amongst others, must pay a lot of attention to situations like these, as mentioned before. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Naam.
قال رحمه الله تعالى: وينبغي مراعاة مصلحة الجماعة وهم طلاب العلم في تقديم وقت الحضور وتأخيره إذا لم يكن فيه ضرورة ولا مزيد كلفة. في هذا الأدب الذي أراد رحمه الله تعالى أن يبينه في الدرس، يقول ينبغي أن يراعي المصلحة، مصلحة الجماعة، مصلحة الطلاب في تقديم، يعني في بداية الدرس لو أراد أن يقدمه عن وقته وأرادوا ذلك لا بأس، وكذلك في التأخير إذا كان فيه مصلحة. أما إذا لم يكن فيه مصلحة فإنه يبقى على وقت التقديم، على وقت الدرس. هذا الذي أراده رحمه الله تعالى أن يبينه. نعم.
Then the Shaykh حفظه الله read again from the statement of Ibn Jamā'a in which he said, and it's a must upon the teacher or the scholar to pay attention or accommodate the benefit of the whole entire group, the whole entire Jama'ah that is attending his classes, in regards to either making the time for the class early or late, if it was necessary, and if it was not gonna cost him or be a burden upon him or others. In other words, as the Shaykh said, Hafidhahullah, what Ibn Jamā'a means here, that you have to accommodate the general benefit of the whole entire group, meaning those who are going to be attending as well as the teacher himself. In this manner, that Ibn Jamā'a wanted to clarify to us regarding the class or regarding any lesson that a teacher is giving, it's upon the teacher to look at the general benefit regarding the timing of those who want to be attending the class. In other words, if bringing the class forward or starting the class early is a benefit to those who come in for the benefit and it's not a harm upon the teacher or the scholar, then the scholar or the teacher should be starting the class early. And if the class need to be delayed so those who are attending get more benefit that way, then upon the scholar or the teacher, if it's no harm upon him, to do the same thing. And that again, this delay or starting early or starting late and so on, or ending late, also is for the general benefit of everybody else. Allah Ta'ala Alam, if there is no harm or necessity upon any of those in attendance. Now,
وذكر رحمه الله تعالى مسألة في استحقاق المعلم الأجر المعطى له نظير تفرغه للتدريس لو قدمه قبل طلوع الشمس أو أخره بعد صلاة الظهر، هل يستحق؟ فهنا ذكر رحمه الله تعالى أنه أفتى بعض أكابر العلماء أن المدرس إذا ذكر الدرس في مدرسة قبل طلوع الشمس أو أخره إلى بعد الظهر لم يستحق معلوم التدريس إلا أن يقتضيه شرط الواقف. هذا ذكر وأيضا علل ما هو السبب في ذلك الذي أفتى فيه هذا العالم أو بعض أكابر العلماء في وقته رحمه الله تعالى، يقول لمخالفته العرف المعتاد في ذلك. والعرف كما هي قاعدة من قواعد الفقه الإسلامي أن العادة محكمة، والعرف إذا كان في عرف هذه المدرسة أنه لا يستحق الأجر إذا أدى الدرس قبل طلوع الشمس أو أخره بعد الظهر، فإنه في هذه الحالة لا يستحق الأجر على ذلك. وأما إذا كان في العرف أنه لا بأس، المهم أن يؤدي الدرس في أي وقت، فكذلك كما هو الآن في حال الجامعات وفي المدارس النظامية أنه المحدد له في وقت معين، ينبغي ألا يخل بذلك ولو وضعه ما لم يأخذ الإذن من المسؤول في هذه المؤسسة التعليمية، فإن ليس له حق أن يأخذ عليه أجرا ما لم يأذن له صاحب الصلاحية، والله أعلم.
الله أكبر. طيب, here the Shaykh Hafidhahullah said there's an important point that we have to bring everybody's attention to regarding getting paid for teaching. regarding getting paid for teaching. When we see, for example, as the Sheikh said, he mentioned the scenario of a teacher who is wanted to teach, for example, before the sunrise, before the rise of the sun, or delayed his class after Salat al-Dhuhr. In other words, he went against the customs of the land in regards to the timing of teaching. Some of the major scholars, as the Sheikh said, حفظه الله, have agreed that this teacher would not qualify to get paid for teaching before sunrise or after Salat al-Dhuhr, because he went against the customs that is known in the land for the timing of teaching. Again, the reason for that, because that teacher went against the customs, al-urf, that is used by the people, what people are used to, in other words, in regards to timing of classes. And al-urf, or the customs, as mentioned in the fundamentals of fiqh, the Sheikh said, he mentioned the rule, an-Nahārī muḥakkama, that the customs are to be ruled by, or the customs are used as a guideline or as a foundation to go by. So if it was in the customs of, let's say, a school where the teacher is teaching, that if he teaches a class before sunrise or after Salat al-Dhuhr, meaning outside the boundaries set forth for him to teach within, then that teacher does not qualify for getting paid for that class. But on the other hand, if it was within the customs of that school that he's teaching at, to teach at whatever time he chooses to, for example, or as long as he fulfills teaching the class in whatever time that is appropriate for him and his students, then he qualifies for the pay. As the Sheikh said, is the hal, or as you see with schools and universities nowadays. They have predetermined time for every class. That is only the appropriate time to teach such a class. As the Sheikh said, حفظه الله, and if the teacher chooses to teach a class outside the set boundaries or outside the agreed upon times, then it's upon him to take permission first from the person in charge of the educational institution. Because if he does not take permission to teach the class outside the time set for that class, then the teacher does not qualify to get paid for it. والله تعالى أعلم. نعم يا شيخنا.
نقف يا شيخ عند هذا الدرس.
شيخنا في سبحان الله، شرحتم ما قالوا ابن جماعة مرة واحدة فما قرأته، سبحان الله، سامحونا يا شيخ. أنا كتبت فقط ما قلته وشرحته وترجمته.
نعم، هو نفسه يكفي.
خير إن شاء الله.
نكتفي بهذا
جزاكم الله خير. براحتكم يا شيخ.
طيب، لا بأس.
جزاكم الله كل خير.
ما أدري المشايخ إذا كان لا مانع عندهم احنا نقفل فننتهينا.
طيب brothers, the Sheikh is asking, is it okay if you want to stop here or you want to continue? If it's okay with you, then we'll stop here. If it's not, we'll continue. طيب في سكوت، مش عارف هل السكوت ده علامة على الرضا الوقوف هنا أم الاستمرار؟ الله المستعان.
لا ما بس، خلاص نكتفي بهذا القدر، وبالله التوفيق، وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت، نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.
Barakallah. As the Sheikh said, we suffice with that for today. Wallah alhamdu al-minna. And I say in conclusion, as a translator, anything that I said that is correct is only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything that I said that is not correct is only from myself and or from the shaitan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakum Allah khair ya Sheikhna, barakallah fikum.
السلام عليكم.
جعل في ميزان حسناتكم. سامحونا على تقصير اليوم. الله المستعان.